everyone. This is Dr. Savita. I am speaking on the module 4 of VTU chemistry syllabus, that is environment, pollution and water chemistry. This is my fourth video, and all the rest videos are uploaded in the YouTube channel My Intuition. Kindly refer to that. In this video, I shall be discussing on water chemistry. I'll be discussing on dissolved oxygen, biological oxygen demand, chemical oxygen demand, and the numerical problems on COD determination. First one is dissolved oxygen. Let's see what is dissolved oxygen. Dissolved oxygen means it is the oxygen, molecular oxygen, that is dissolved in water. Aquatic life use this dissolved oxygen just as we use atmospheric oxygen. Organic impurities present in the water may reduce the concentration of dissolved oxygen, because organic impurities, to get oxidized, they require oxygen, and they will use the dissolved oxygen. Okay. Next is, whereas if you go for the dissolved oxygen, the lower the dissolved oxygen represents more amount of organic impurities in water. Okay, higher amounts of dissolved oxygen increases corrosion in boilers, because we have, as we have already discussed, for the, if there is more availability of oxygen, then cathodic reaction will be initiated, right? The presence of oxygen, that part is that we have discussed in detail in corrosion science. Dissolved oxygen content in water is determined by Winkler's method. It's a method where we use manganese sulfate and manganese hydroxide. We will be precipitating out and finding out the dissolved oxygen. Next is biological oxygen demand. Biological oxygen demand is the amount of oxygen required for the biological oxidation of organic matter present in 1 liter of sewage water. This is the definition. Let's see what is actually, what it is actually. See, the water, sewage water means the water which contains organic impurities, right? Now, if we want to find out how much organic impurity is present, organic matter is present in the water, we have to oxidize it. Okay. For the oxidation, we require oxygen. Now, in biological oxygen demand, what we do is we add certain microorganisms like bacteria. These bacteria will use the dissolved oxygen present in the water, and also they will take the nutrients, that is oxidation, organic matter is present in the sewage water. So microorganism will consume that organic matter and they grow, they increase their colony, right? Now, by finding out how much this micro dissolved oxygen is present, the day on which the microorganism is added, and after one full growth cycle, that is 5 days, after 5 days, we can find out how much organic matter is present, because as much organic matter is present, so much what oxygen will be consumed, because for the consumption of organic matter, oxygen is required, right? Now the unit to express BOD is milligrams per liter. Okay, the process is a known volume, equal volumes of sewage water and the known volume of dilution water is taken into different biological oxygen by BOD bottles. Biological oxygen demand bottles, it's called BOD bottles. Two different bottles are taken, and in both sewage water is taken, and then equal volume of sewage water is taken in both the flasks, and then certain dilution water which contains nutrients for the bacterial growth is added to both the bottles. Okay, as soon as it is added, the one of the bottle is collected, one of the bottle is analyzed for dissolved oxygen. Okay, and that is called the dissolved oxygen D1. Okay, and another bottle is kept in the incubator for around 5 days at 20 degrees Celsius, and then after 20 days, I mean after 5 days, you have to take out that bottle and again analyze for the dissolved oxygen, right? Now here the dissolved oxygen on the first day will be more, and the dissolved oxygen on the 5th day will be less. Obviously, it is because the organic matter, I mean the bacteria has consumed the dissolved oxygen. Okay, from these values, dBOD is calculated. Next is chemical oxygen demand. Chemical oxygen demand is the amount of oxygen required for the chemical oxidation of the organic matter present in 1 liter of sewage. The unit is again milligrams per liter or ppm. Now, as I said before, organic matter is present in sewage water. We now have to find out how much organic matter is present by finding out how much oxygen is required for its oxidation. Okay, now this oxygen can be supplied by two methods. One is by microorganisms. What these microorganisms? Through biological systems, that is we have discussed earlier, that is BOD, right? Biological oxygen demand, wherein microorganisms are grown, and these microorganisms will consume the oxygen. They will inhale the oxygen and they will also consume the organic matter. So as much organic matter is present, so much oxygen will be consumed. Okay, now this is a second method. In the second method, oxygen is supplied by using chemicals. Okay, that is why it is written chemical oxidation of organic matter, whereas in BOD it is written biological oxidation of organic matter. Right, now here also you are taking the organic matter and then you are adding a chemical, a strong oxidizing agent. A oxidizing agent is the one which liberates oxygen, right? So the as much organic matter is present, so much of oxygen will be consumed. Okay, the chemical used or the oxidizing agent used is potassium dichromate. Right, now here bottle sewage water is taken, and for that potassium dichromate is added, which gives out oxygen only in the presence of sulfuric acid, that is acidic medium. Therefore sulfuric acid is also added. Certain catalysts are also required, right? Mercuric sulfate, silver sulfate, all these are added. Okay, and then what happens is in this medium, all the organic matter will be oxidized by the oxygen, right? As much organic matter is there, so much potassium dichromate will be consumed, right? Then some part of the potassium dichromate, that is unreacted potassium dichromate, is determined by titrating against ferrous ammonium sulfate, which is a reducing agent, using ferroin as the indicator. Okay, as much potassium dichromate is consumed, so much of organic matter is present. Right, now to understand it better, let me just explain in the form of diagram. Right, these are the reactions. So see, organic matter that is present in the waste water. For that you are adding potassium dichromate and sulfuric acid. That time all the organic matter will be converted into carbon dioxide and water. Okay, now as much organic matter is present, so much potassium dichromate will be consumed. Since you are taking potassium dichromate in excess, there will be some unreacted potassium dichromate. This unreacted potassium dichromate can be found out, how much is present, that can be found out by titrating against ferrous ammonium sulfate. Okay, FAS solution, more salt. Okay, so as much potassium dichromate is present, so much FAS will be consumed, and the indicator used here is ferroin indicator. Okay, now let me explain in terms in diagram for better understanding. Let us assume this is a sample and this is the organic matter present. Okay, now what you do is you add sulfuric acid. You are adding in excess. So now as much organic matter is there, so much potassium dichromate will be consumed, right? We have added in excess. We do not know how much organic matter is present. Therefore, we are adding in excess. Okay, as much as present, so much will react with the organic matter. But what about the excess? See, these are excess, right? Now the excess potassium dichromate can be found out. How much is remaining excess after the reaction can be found out. This is the remaining potassium dichromate by titrating against FAS, ferrous ammonium sulfate, right? So as much since you are doing the titration, as much potassium dichromate is present, so much FAS will be consumed, right? How will you come to know when how much FAS is required? That we will come to know by using an indicator, and the indicator used is ferroin, right? So you find out how much FAS is remaining, right? Now what is our requirement? We need to find out how much potassium dichromate is consumed, not how much is remaining. For COD, we need how much potassium dichromate is consumed, not how much is remaining. Now how to find out how much is consumed? We have just found out how much is remaining. We do not know how much is consumed because we do not know how much we have added, right? We have added excess amount of potassium dichromate. We do not know how much we have added, how many more. So we may tell I've added 10 ml or 20 ml, but we do not know how many molecules are present in that 20 ml. Therefore, what you do is, our next work is we need to find out how much actually potassium dichromate we have added. Okay, so what we do is the same type of conditions we maintain, and we take two flasks. Okay, in one we will be taking uh, sewage water, and another one we will not take sewage water. Instead we will take distilled water. Okay, if you have taken 50 ml of sewage water, 50 ml of distilled water we have to take, two different flasks. Okay, and then what you do is you add potassium dichromate for both the flasks. Okay, same volume. If you add 10 ml there, here also you have to add 10 ml. Okay, then in the first flask there was organic matter. Therefore, some part of the potassium dichromate will be consumed, and remaining unreacted we can find out by uh, titrating against FAS, and that titration is called as back titration. Okay, in the second flask, there is no organic matter because we have taken distilled water. Distilled water does not contain organic matter. Therefore, whatever potassium dichromate we have added, everything is remaining as unreacted itself because nothing is being consumed, right? Therefore, uh, we have to now find out how much is remaining. Here also we are finding out how much is remaining, but what is remaining is equal to how much you have added because nothing is consumed, right? So you find out how much is actually added by titrating against FAS. Okay, so as much potassium dichromate is present, so much FAS will be consumed. You can do the titration by using ferroin as indicator, right? Now this titration is called as blank titration because it does not contain organic matter. It is blank of the organic matter or sample, right? So the first titration, back titration, gives you how much potassium dichromate is remaining after the reaction, and the blank titration gives you how much potassium dichromate you have actually added, right? So blank will always be higher than the back because blank, no potassium dichromate is consumed, whereas in back, as much organic matter is there, so much potassium dichromate will be consumed. Therefore, blank minus back will give you how much potassium dichromate is consumed by the organic matter. Blank gives you how much actually potassium dichromate you have added. Blank gives you how much is remaining after the reaction. Therefore, blank minus back will give you how much is consumed by the organic matter. Okay, therefore blank titer value minus back titer value, uh, that is in terms of FAS strength, will give you how much potassium dichromate is consumed, or potassium dichromate is consumed means, in other words, it is the oxygen, because potassium dichromate is the source of oxygen. Okay, so then uh, you have the formula to find out the COD. V2 will be taken as blank titer value. V1 is back titer value into the strength of FAS into 8, which is the equivalent weight of oxygen, into 1000 because we need to express in milligrams. So grams we are converting into milligrams. Therefore, we need to multiply by 1000, divide by volume of the water taken. For titration, how much you have taken. Okay, so with this formula we need to we can find out the COD. Okay, some numerical problems based on COD determination we will be solving now. First one is, let us read the problem. 20 ml of the sample of COD analysis was titrated with 10 ml of potassium dichromate of 0.25 normal potassium dichromate, and the unreacted potassium dichromate required 6.5 ml of 0.1 normal FAS 10 ml of the same potassium dichromate and 20 ml of distilled water under same condition as the sample required, 26 ml of 0.1 normal FAS. Calculate the COD. Now let us find for extract what is required, because too much of values are given in the problem. Everything is not required for the calculation. We just have to need, if you see the formula, we need to know the normality of FAS. See, normality of FAS is given. Okay, first write down the formula and see, extract what is required. Okay, next see the formula says blank minus back into normality of FAS into 8 into 1000 divided by volume of sample. Okay, 8 and 1000 is constant. We need to find out first V2. V2 means it is the blank titer value. What is the blank titer value? Blank titer value means, see, uh, distilled water. Blank titer value, how do you find out? How do you perform blank titer value? With using distilled water, right? Instead of organic matter, we will be, or instead of sewage, we will be using distilled water. So whatever value of FAS which is associated with the distilled water will be the blank titer value. So here blank titer value under same condition required is 26 ml, right? 26 ml becomes the blank titer value. Volume of sample taken, see, 20 ml of the sample. Next V1, that is back titer value. Back titer value is associated with whatever value of potassium dichromate associated with unreacted potassium dichromate is FAS. So uh, here it is unreacted potassium dichromate requires 6.5 ml of 0.1 normal FAS, right? So 6.5 becomes back titer value, right? So the formula is blank minus back into NFAS into 8 into 1000 divided by volume of the sample taken. So we know the values. V2 is 26 minus 6.5 into 0.1 into 8 into 1000 divided by 20. So when you substitute all this, you will get the answer 780 milligrams per liter. Okay, now there are many other information. See, 0.25 normal potassium dichromate, 10 ml of same potassium dichromate. All this is actually information given in the problem which is not required for solving. For completeness, all these values will be given, right? Next, let us go for the next problem. The second problem is 25 ml of industrial effluent consumed 22.5 ml of 0.5 normal potassium dichromate solution for oxidation. Calculate the COD. Here also same formula itself, but here see what is 25 ml of industrial effluent consume. Industrial effluent means it is the sample taken. Okay, so sample taken will be 25 ml. It consumes 22.5 ml of 0.5 normal potassium dichromate. Consumes. See why we are doing blank minus back? To find out how much is consumed, right? Blank is how much actually you have added. Back is how much is present, unreacted. Okay. If you take the difference, it will give you how much is consumed. So directly here consumed is given. So V2 minus V1 will be this itself, 22.5 ml. Okay. Now, how do you find out how much potassium dichromate is remaining or how much is added? By titrating against FAS, right? So as much potassium dichromate is present, so much FAS will be consumed, right? So as much FAS is consumed, that is also equal to how much potassium dichromate is present, right? Both are equivalent. Therefore, we also can take the normality of potassium dichromate in terms of NFAS. Okay, when NFAS is not given, okay, if NFAS is given, then we need to take the NFAS value only. Okay, so the see given is NFAS, which is also equivalent to N potassium dichromate, that is equal to 0.5 normal. Then volume of sample taken is 25 ml. V2 minus V1, that is blank minus back, is 22.5 ml. You have the formula. Go on substituting the formula in the formula. You will get the answer as 3600 milligrams per liter. Okay, so second type of problem. Now the third type of problem, see, 25 ml of COD analysis, and a sample of COD analysis was reacted with 10 ml of 0.25 normal potassium dichromate. It requires 13.5 ml of FAS. 10 ml of the same potassium dichromate and 25 ml of distilled water under same condition as the sample required 26.3 ml of same FAS. Calculate the COD of the sample. Okay. Now FAS was prepared by dissolving 2.75 grams of FAS in 250 ml of water. Equivalent weight of FAS is 392. Okay, so this is, see here, uh, 25 ml of sample. Okay, that means volume of a sample taken will be 25 ml. 10 ml of 0.25 normal potassium dichromate required 13.5 ml of FAS. Therefore, this is what back titer value, right? 13.5. And what about 10 ml of the next one is 10 ml of the same potassium dichromate and 25 ml of distilled water. So the moment distilled water comes, it is blank titer value, that is 26.3. Right now, here potassium dichromate normality is given, but at the same time FAS, how the preparation of FAS is also given. That means we can find out how much FAS is, what is the strength of FAS. Now how to find out? We have the formula: weight of FAS in 1 liter of solution divided by equivalent weight of FAS. Okay. Now weight of FAS for 1 liter of solution. See, weight of FAS is given 2.75 grams of FAS. But here it is given for 250 ml. But the formula is for 1 liter. So you need to convert this 250 ml into 1 liter. How to convert? We need to multiply by 4. We need to multiply 2.75 into 4 times. Okay. Divide by equivalent weight. Equivalent weight is given 392. That is equal to normality. This is given. This is the normality of FAS. Rest all is given directly in the formula. In the problem. Just go on substituting. You will get the value. You will get the answer. The answer is 114.68 milligrams per liter. Okay. Next type of problem is 30 ml of effluent sample in a COD analysis consumed 13.6 ml of FAS. Okay. The FAS was prepared by dissolving 4.7 grams of FAS in 500 ml of water. Okay. Equivalent weight of FAS is given. The same type, like here FAS preparation is also given. You need to find out the strength. Okay. Now 30 ml of FAS means the volume of the sample is 30 ml. Okay. Now directly consumed 13.6 is given. Therefore V2 minus V1 is 13.6 of FAS. But FAS strength is not given, which is required for the calculation. That we have to find out by solving this. Okay. Now the only difference between the preparation in this problem and the previous problem is, there it was given so much of FAS is dissolved in 250 ml. Now here it is given for 500 ml. Again the formula remains the same. Weight of FAS for 1 liter divided by equivalent weight. Okay. Weight of FAS 4.7 for 500 ml. We need to convert it into 1 liter. Therefore we have to multiply by 2. Okay. 4.7 into 2 divided by equivalent weight, you will get the strength of FAS. Volume anyway is given 30 ml. V2 minus V1 directly it is given. You have the formula V2 minus V1 into NFAS, you have just now found out, into 8 into 1000 divided by volume of the sample. Go on substituting. 13.6 it is given. Okay. Substitute that and then you will get the answer as 87.04 milligrams per liter. Okay. So these are some of the problems. Still there are many problems in the to be solved. One more video I shall be discussing exclusively only on solving the problems of COD determination. Thank you.